Are your legs feeling heavier than they used to? Maybe you've noticed it when you stand up, when you walk a short distance, or even when you're trying to sleep at night. That subtle aching, stiffness, or fatigue in your legs is often dismissed as just aging. But here's the truth most people never hear. It's not just aging, it's circulation. And more importantly, it's fixable. Here's what's really going on inside your body. As we move past 70, one of the most important systems that begins to decline is microcirculation, the tiny blood vessels responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients deep into your muscles and tissues. Think of your blood vessels like a vast highway system. When you're younger, traffic flows smoothly. Oxygen, glucose, and nutrients move efficiently to your muscles. Waste products are cleared out quickly, but over time, those highways start to narrow. Some roads become blocked, others lose flexibility. Now, your muscles, especially in your legs, are essentially starving for oxygen even if your heart is still working fine. And this is why you feel weakness, cramping, cold feet, slow healing, fatigue when walking. But here's the surprising part. There is one specific vitamin that directly targets this problem at the root, not by masking symptoms, but by restoring the function of your blood vessels themselves. Not a drug, not a complicated treatment. A simple, science-backed nutrient that helps your body produce nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for opening up your blood vessels and improving circulation. In fact, what the research shows is that optimizing this pathway can dramatically improve blood flow, especially in aging populations. And when blood flow improves, everything improves: energy, mobility, brain function, even metabolic health. In today's video, I'm going to break this down step by step, like we're standing at a whiteboard together. You'll understand why circulation declines with age, the real root cause most people miss, and how to use this GUBR1 vitamin correctly for maximum benefit. Let's start with the most common misunderstanding. Most people think poor circulation in the legs is a heart problem, but in many cases, your heart is still doing its job. Here's what's really going on inside your body. The issue is happening at the level of your blood vessels, specifically something called the endothelium, the thin inner lining of your arteries. Think of the endothelium like the control center of your blood flow. It decides when your vessels should relax and open, tighten, and restrict, deliver oxygen efficiently. Now here's the key. Your endothelium produces a molecule called nitric oxide. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your blood vessels are like expandable garden hoses. Nitric oxide is the signal that tells the hose, "Open up, more flow needed here." When nitric oxide is working well, blood flows freely. Oxygen reaches your leg muscles. You feel strong and mobile, but after age 70, nitric oxide production can drop significantly. And when that happens, blood vessels become stiff, they don't expand properly. Circulation slows down, especially to the legs. What the research shows is that aging is strongly associated with endothelial dysfunction, meaning your vessels lose their ability to respond properly. And this decline is accelerated by chronic inflammation, high blood sugar, and insulin resistance, oxidative stress, lack of key nutrients. So even if your heart is pumping, your blood isn't getting where it needs to go. That's why so many people say, "I feel fine sitting, but walking is hard." It's not a strength issue, it's a delivery problem. Oxygen and nutrients simply aren't reaching your muscles efficiently. Now here's where it gets empowering, because if the problem is nitric oxide and endothelial function, then we can target that directly. And this is exactly where the GUBR1 vitamin comes in. It supports the very pathway your body uses to produce nitric oxide, helping your blood vessels relax again. Before we get to that, now let's go one layer deeper, because this is where things start to connect. We've established that nitric oxide is critical for blood flow. But here's the question. Why does nitric oxide production decline so sharply after 70? Here's what's really going on inside your body. One of the biggest and most overlooked reasons is a deficiency in vitamin B3, also known as niacin. And this isn't just about vitamins in the traditional sense. This is about cellular energy and vascular signaling. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of nitric oxide production like a factory. For that factory to run efficiently, it needs energy, and not just any energy, but a molecule called NAD+, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. NAD+ is essential for cellular repair, mitochondrial energy production, and importantly, maintaining healthy blood vessel function. Now here's the key. Vitamin B3 is a direct precursor to NAD+, Without enough B3, your NAD plus levels drop. And when NAD plus drops, your cells produce less nitric oxide, your blood vessels lose flexibility, your circulation begins to decline. What the research shows is that NAD plus levels can decrease significantly with age, in some cases by more than 50%. And that decline directly affects vascular health, muscle performance, even brain function. But here's what makes this even more important. Many older adults are functionally deficient in B3, not because they aren't eating enough, but because absorption becomes less efficient. Chronic inflammation increases demand. Medications can interfere with metabolism, so even if your diet looks normal, your body may still be operating at a deficit, and this creates a silent cycle. Lower B3, lower NAD+, lower NAD+, reduced nitric oxide, poor blood flow. And over time, that shows up as the exact symptoms we talked about: leg fatigue, weakness, slower recovery, reduced mobility. Now here's the empowering part. When you restore this pathway, when you support NAD+ production through adequate vitamin B3, you're not just taking a supplement, you're reactivating your body's natural ability to regulate blood flow. And this is where we transition into the most important part of this entire discussion: how this Notcher-1 vitamin actually unlocks circulation and how to use it correctly for real results. Now let's connect everything. We've talked about nitric oxide, we've talked about vitamin B3. Now here's how they work together and why this matters so much for your legs. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Vitamin B3, especially in forms like niacin or nicotinamide, helps your body produce NAD+. And NAD+ plays a critical role in activating enzymes called sirtuins. Now stay with me. This is where it gets powerful. Sirtuins help regulate the health of your endothelium, that inner lining of your blood vessels we talked about earlier. And when sirtuins are active, they support the production of nitric oxide. So the chain looks like this: vitamin B3, NAD+, sirtuins, nitric oxide, blood vessel relaxation, better circulation. Let me simplify that with an analogy. Think of vitamin B3 as the key that turns on the power grid. Once the power is on, NAD+, your system can repair itself, communicate properly, and most importantly, open up blood flow where it's needed. Without that key, the system runs on low power. Now here's what the research shows. Studies on aging populations have found that improving NAD+ availability can enhance endothelial function, improve blood vessel elasticity, increase blood flow to peripheral tissues like your legs. And this is especially important for preventing or improving conditions like peripheral artery stiffness, reduced walking endurance, muscle fatigue. But here's where many people go wrong. They think, I'll just take a vitamin and that's enough. Not quite. Because your body doesn't operate in isolation. To maximize the effect of vitamin B3, you need to support the entire nitric oxide pathway. Here's a simple, actionable protocol. 1. Timing matters. Take vitamin B3 earlier in the day. This aligns with your body's natural energy cycles and NAD+ demand. 2. Pair it with nitric oxide supporting foods. Think leafy greens like spinach and arugula, beets, garlic. These provide natural nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide. 3. Avoid blocking the pathway. High sugar intake and processed foods increase oxidative stress, which destroys nitric oxide. 4. Support circulation daily. Even light movement, like walking for 10-15 minutes after meals, signals your body to improve blood flow. Now here's the key takeaway. You're not just boosting circulation, you're restoring a biological system that your body already knows how to use. Now here's something most people never connect. You could be taking the right vitamin, doing light exercise, even trying to eat healthy, and still be silently damaging your circulation every single day. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your blood vessels are extremely sensitive to something called oxidative stress. This happens when there's an imbalance between free radicals, damage, antioxidants, repair, and one of the fastest ways to increase oxidative stress is through frequent blood sugar spikes. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine nitric oxide, the molecule that opens your blood vessels, is like a delicate signal. Now imagine sugar spikes like static interference. Every time your blood sugar rises sharply, inflammation increases, free radicals are produced, nitric oxide gets broken down. So even if your body is producing nitric oxide, it's being destroyed faster than it can be used. What the research shows is that elevated glucose levels can directly impair endothelial function, reducing the ability of blood vessels to dilate properly. This is why many people experience cold feet, numbness, cramping, poor walking endurance, even without a formal diagnosis of diabetes. Now, here's the important part. This isn't just about sugar in the obvious sense, it's also about refined carbohydrates, white bread, biscuits, sugary cereals, frequent snacking, eating late at night. All of these keep insulin levels elevated, and over time, this leads to insulin resistance. And insulin resistance doesn't just affect weight, it directly damages your blood vessels. Think of it like this: healthy metabolism, Fokker flexible blood vessels; insulin resistance, Fokker stiff, unresponsive vessels. Now let's make this practical. Here's how to protect your nitric oxide and improve circulation through diet. 1. Stabilize blood sugar. Focus on meals that combine protein, healthy fats, fiber. This slows glucose release and reduces spikes. 2. Reduce eating frequency. Give your body time between meals. Even 12-14 hours overnight can significantly improve metabolic health. 3. Start your meals with vegetables. This simple habit can blunt blood sugar spikes dramatically. 4. Remove the biggest offenders. Cut back on sugary drinks, processed snacks, refined flour products. Now, here's the key insight: you can take the best supplement in the world, but if your daily diet is constantly creating inflammation and oxidative stress, you're working against your own biology. Fix the environment, and the body starts to heal. Now, let's bring everything together into something practical, because information is useful, but only if you can apply it. So imagine we're standing at a whiteboard, and I'm writing out a simple daily plan. Not complicated, not overwhelming, just targeted and effective. Here's what this looks like. First, we start with the foundation. Morning, within 1 to 2 hours of waking. This is where you support your body's energy systems. Take your vitamin B3 here, ideally in a moderate dose as part of a B complex or as niacin nicotinamide. Why morning? Because this is when your body naturally ramps up. NAD plus production, cellular repair energy metabolism. You're working with your biology, not against it. Pair this with a simple breakfast strategy: protein plus healthy fat plus fiber, for example, eggs with vegetables, yogurt with seeds and nuts, or even a light, balanced meal if your appetite is low. This stabilizes blood sugar early, protecting your nitric oxide for the rest of the day. Midday, movement plus circulation boost. Here's something incredibly powerful and often overlooked. After your largest meal, take a 10-15-minute walk. This does three things: improves blood sugar control, stimulates blood flow to your legs, signals your vessels to stay flexible. Think of movement as a natural pump. Your muscles contract, they push blood back toward the heart. Circulation improves instantly. No intense exercise needed. Consistency beats intensity here. Afternoon, nitric oxide support through food. This is where you layer in nutrition that directly supports circulation. Focus on leafy greens, spinach, lettuce, arugula, beets or beetroot juice, garlic. These foods provide dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide through a separate pathway. So now you're supporting circulation from two angles: internally, vitamin B3, NAD+, nutritionally, nitrates, nitric oxide. That's synergy. Evening, protect and repair. Dinner should be lighter and earlier if possible. Avoid heavy high-carb meals late at night. Why? Because late eating raises blood sugar overnight, increases oxidative stress, interferes with vascular repair. Instead, aim for a 12-14 hour overnight fasting window. This gives your body time to restore NAD+ levels, reduce inflammation, repair blood vessels before bed. Circulation habit. A simple habit that can make a noticeable difference. Elevate your legs for 5 to 10 minutes. This helps reduce pooling of blood, improve venous return, relieve pressure and fatigue. It's simple, but very effective. Now, here's the key takeaway: you don't need extreme changes, you need targeted consistency. Small daily actions that support nitric oxide, protect your blood vessels, and restore circulation over time. Next, we'll cover one final piece: a small but powerful lifestyle trigger that can multiply these results. Now, here's the piece almost nobody talks about, and yet it can dramatically improve circulation even if you don't change anything else. It's your breathing, specifically how you breathe throughout the day. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Most people, especially as they age, tend to shift into shallow, chest-based breathing, short, rapid breaths. And while this may seem harmless, it actually reduces the amount of oxygen entering your bloodstream and disrupts a critical balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your blood like a delivery truck carrying oxygen. Now imagine that oxygen is locked inside the truck and can't easily get out to your tissues. That's what happens when your breathing is inefficient, because oxygen delivery isn't just about how much you inhale, it's about how well your body can release oxygen into your cells. And this process depends heavily on carbon dioxide levels, something most people never consider. What the research shows is that slow, controlled nasal breathing improves oxygen delivery to tissues, blood vessel dilation, nervous system balance, and yes, it even supports nitric oxide production. In fact, nitric oxide is produced in your nasal passages. So, when you breathe through your nose, especially slowly and deeply, you're naturally increasing nitric oxide availability, which means better vessel relaxation, better blood flow, better oxygen delivery to your legs. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple daily breathing protocol. 1. Shift to nasal breathing during the day. Keep your mouth closed whenever possible, especially during walking or light activity. 2. Practice slow breathing, 2 to 3 times daily. Try this. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, exhale slowly for 6 to 8 seconds. Do this for 3 or 5 minutes. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system. The repair mode. 3. Use breathing during walks. Combine movement with nasal breathing to amplify circulation benefits. 4. Avoid chronic overbreathing. Fast, shallow breathing lowers carbon dioxide too much, which actually reduces oxygen delivery to tissues. Now here's the key insight. Circulation isn't just about your heart, or even just your blood vessels. It's about oxygen signaling molecules like nitric oxide and the way your body regulates these systems moment to moment. So let's bring this all together, simply and clearly. If you've been struggling with heavy legs, poor circulation, or reduced mobility after 70, it's not just getting older. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your blood vessels are losing flexibility, your nitric oxide production is declining, and your cells are running lower on the energy they need to maintain healthy circulation. But we also saw something powerful. This process is not fixed. It can be influenced and improved when you address the root causes. Let's recap the key takeaways. Blood flow problems often start in the endothelium, not the heart. Nitric oxide is the key signal that allows your vessels to open. Vitamin B3 supports NAD+, which helps restore that signaling pathway. Your diet can either protect or destroy nitric oxide. Simple habits like walking, fasting, and leg elevation improve circulation daily, and even your breathing can directly enhance oxygen delivery and blood flow. This is about restoring a system, not chasing symptoms, because when circulation improves, you don't just feel it in your legs, you feel it in your energy balance, brain function, overall vitality. Now here's your challenge. Don't try to do everything at once. Instead, pick one simple action from today's video. Maybe it's taking vitamin B3 in the morning, going for a short walk after meals, or practicing slow nasal breathing for a few minutes. Start there, then pay attention, because your body will respond often faster than you expect. And once you feel that shift, it becomes easier to build momentum. If this added value to your day, like the video and subscribe, and join a community of people who are taking control of their health naturally, one simple step at a time. Your body is incredibly capable of healing when you give it the right signals. And today you've learned exactly how to start.